2007, tragedy struck the Cibley family when Jerry's 18-year-old son, Jordan, was killed while driving and talking on a cell phone.
Mother's Day, a beautiful sunny day. We had a great breakfast with Jordy at the local deli. He had just gone to the prom the night before. He had a fabulous evening. I was on the phone with him. You know, we kind of bandied back and forth as to who was talking to him, and it was just inconsequential conversation. We were just having a good time on the phone. And then I heard what, to this day, I'm still not certain what I heard. It was an ooh or an ah, and the phone went dead. And again, I said to myself, oh, you know, bad area, and I tried him back. We couldn't get him back on the phone.
The fence was partly knocked over, and of course we immediately jumped out of the car. The police were still here, and they told us that there had been a crash in our front yard in which a young man had been taken to the hospital, and that was Jordan Cibley, unfortunately and tragically.
And doctor came out, she said, hello, Mr. Cibley. I said, is my son alive? She said, can we go somewhere and talk? Now, I've seen enough TV.
Yeah.
So I know what the answer is. And I said to her, please, I just need to know, is my son alive? It's a simple yes or no question. And she said, I'm sorry, your son died.
Jerry immediately became a significant vocal presence, helping to educate the public on the dangers of distracted driving.
Well, Safe Roads Alliance is intended to try to help drivers be more aware of what they're doing behind the wheel, and we got to know Jerry Cibley because of his tragic circumstance where his son was involved in a crash doing something he shouldn't have been doing.
That was a pretty dark day in our lives, but since that day we've done a lot of very good things in his memory. I started doing a lot of lobbying. I met the Registrar of Motor Vehicles. I was like to feel that I was one of the people who was instrumental in getting the no texting law passed in Massachusetts.
Oh, you certainly were.
Legal to hold a cell phone in Massachusetts. You can talk on your cell phone when you drive, but it makes a lot more sense to either keep that conversation extremely brief, which is appropriate, or to simply pull over to a safe place at the side of the road or in a parking lot and then make that call or return that call or take that call when you have time to focus on the call, when it will not distract you from your driving.
The last thing I just want to talk about for a minute with you is that when you have a life event such as this, where you have lost your child, you have to remember that people aren't going to know how to react to you. There's going to be people that recoil and don't know what to say. Friends that you've had for years will suddenly disappear from your life, and you have to rebuild your social relationships with people, and they're never quite the same again, unfortunately. And you have to remember that you're not being a bad person. You're not an albatross. You are still who you are, and you have to just find a new way of going about things. And it will happen over time, but don't feel alone, because you don't have to be.